country sure as hell been going down the drain.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
And now, live, unedited, unrehearsed, and unapologetic, brought to you by Imperial Fire Alarm and Security, securing your world. Straight off the ledge, it's JD and Smitty!
This is the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty on 96K Rock. The phone lines are open, 239-277-9600 or 775-9600. Streaming live video on theledgeradioshow.com and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Ledge Radio Show. Big thanks to our special co-host, Sarah Lee. Hi, Sarah.
How are you, everybody?
Very good. Along with our AV wizard, tripod Billy behind the glass, and in-studio producer, Sick Rick. Before I get to Smitty and our guest, I want to send a shout-out to our good friend, Joe. He's a 17-year-old son of our producer/marketing genius, Shannon Livingston. Shannon has taken Joe to Kansas City for some important medical treatments. We wish Joe the best. Our prayers are with him, and Godspeed. All right, Smitty, do your thing.
Absolutely. This week, our title sponsor is Imperial Fire Alarm and Security, securing your world. If you need security, CCTV, fire alarm work, or security work, please call Imperial today at 239-288-6482. That's 239-288-6482. Our techs are standing by. We also have a special guest this morning in our studio, Mr. Trey Radel.
Trey, thanks for being here, buddy.
Good to be here.
All right. So good. So Trey is running for the District 19 seat for U.S. Congress, and the election is like 3 days away, man. This is getting crazy.
Down the stretch they come.
Yeah, Tuesday is the big day. Early voting going on today, and today is the final day to early vote.
Okay.
Get out and vote.
And now there's only they don't have all of the polling stations open for early, correct? There's only a few? It's limited, or is it all of them?
No, it's just a few. It's not like on actual voting day where you have your local precinct and you go and vote there. It's early voting or just special kind of destination. So any supervisor of elections office.
Okay.
But also, for example, one of the larger, more popular ones in Lee County is right at Daniels and 41 behind the Robin Stuckey building.
Okay, all right. So everybody,
Get out there and vote.
Yeah, if you don't think you're going to have a chance on Tuesday, vote early, vote today, vote often.
Yeah. Now, I'm a Republican, not a Democrat.
Oh, that's right. If you're a Democrat, you can vote often. You and Acorn.
If we were in Chicago, my son, who's 8 months old, would vote.
He would
Twice.
vote, yeah. Any dead relatives, they would vote multiple times.
You just guys want to suppress voters. Just say it, okay? Just say it.
You know, that is something that's been in the news recently, because Florida is trying to get rid of the voter
fraud.
Well, it is voter fraud, and that's what they're trying to get rid of. And you got the
What's that mean, Schmitty?
That means that people that shouldn't be voting are voting, and I'm all for opening up pre-election. There's a lot of controversy about early voting.
It's not about early voting; it's about people that aren't citizens that are voting.
Even in Ohio, there's a big
meant.
thing about that now because some of the counties are either red or blue, or whatever, and they're trying to say, well, let's not have so much open voting, early voting, and so they're trying to suppress it a little bit.
Well, we've got our federal government that actually lodged a case against Florida, trying to get us to stop purging the voter rolls for illegal illegal folks that they're not citizens. You can't vote. I mean that's the law.
That should be plain and simple.
Be the law, though.
That is the law.
That is the
but we
law.
got a federal government that's trying to step in the way of the law. What's your thoughts on that, Trey?
Go ahead.
Well, look, the argument is that they're trying to suppress voter turnout and that they're also trying to suppress, specifically the Republicans in this state are trying to suppress voter turnout because they're asking for something as simple as an ID, your identification. You do anything. You go get a Costco card. You got to have an ID.
You got a Costco card? Damn. This is BS.
I got
Mass quantity.
I got a corporate one. It's like $100 for the corporate card.
Man.
I shopped one time. I think I bought a big bottle of vodka. And that was it. With a $100 gift card.
They send me the fake paper one. The sticks to your door.
You're voting for the most powerful position on the planet. I don't think that it's too much to ask for identification. And so, yes, what's happening in Florida is that we're getting a lot of blowback here from the Department of Justice, Eric Holder's Department of Justice, saying don't vote, don't purge your voter rolls, don't get rid of the dead people, don't get rid of the illegal people. Right. We think that you're tampering with this.
Why do you think? Why why would he be doing that? What is the justification?
Well, the way that they're going to phrase it is, well, it's better for us at the federal level to take care of everything. But that's the Obama
That's their mantra.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want. They want all power, everything that they can possibly control, centralized in Washington. And
that's one thing I kind of walk the middle of the road on a lot of issues. But
really?
Absolutely, absolutely. Unlike you, I'm a free thinker.
Okay.
And
you know what?
But I will agree that if they are illegal, they shouldn't be voting. It's pretty simple. But I also think they should open the voting a couple days before and stockpile the votes and then show us Tuesday night who won.
Speaking of walking the middle of the road, I saw this picture that would illustrate you perfectly on Facebook.
You can talk about Randy Travis in the gutter naked?
No, not that one, but that's pretty close. But no. You
Trey, if it doesn't work out, I don't want to see that on the news.
There was a yellow striping going on the middle of the road with a squirrel that had been squished, and they striped right over him. That'd be you walking the middle of the road, get striped right over.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I guess as long as you're not naked.
I'm not listening. I'm not dead in the road, man. I was just sleeping.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got some audio queued up, and I want to get Trey's response to this. This is from President Obama giving a speech talking about how he rescued the auto industry. Well, actually, he says how we rescued the auto industry, and then he goes on to say, well, why not every industry? Sick Rick, are you ready for cut one or what? Yeah. All right. Let's play cut one right now.
When the American auto industry was on the brink of collapse, more than 1 million jobs at stake, Governor Romney said, let's let Detroit go bankrupt. I said, I believe in American workers, I believe in this American industry, and now the American auto industry has come roaring back, and GM's number one.
All right, so now GM's number one, according to Obama, because he saved it through our tax dollars. But I do recall, though, Ford didn't take a bailout, and yet they didn't have any problems.
Yeah, Ford's doing well. What President Obama, when you just cut through this, what he would like to do is have as much control of private companies as possible. I think. I mean,
well, I've got cut two that's going to talk more about that. But just speaking on the auto side of it, I mean, first of all, he mentions we. Does he mean our tax dollars that were taken without our consent to give to GM and Chrysler, basically for the unions for kickbacks from his election? I read yesterday that if GM was to sell its stock right now, we would lose $43+ billion. Ford didn't take the bailout, and yet they did fine without government money.
Ford's a lot smaller than GM, though. They
GM's
are
huge.
So that's the issue.
No, it's not the issue.
So they needed government
money. The issue is
money.
there was so much at stake, and the bailout actually came from Bush, who started it. So the first $17 to $20 billion was Bush. The baton was handed to Obama, and it was already in place. So don't act like Obama walked across the street and wrote a check and said, "Here you guys go."
There's so much damage that was done prior to this.
I don't think
this is
giving
exactly the point where Democrats and Republicans have failed us.
And I'll tell you what, I've been to many of your speeches. This is the first time this week I went to one at Rocky Patel. Thank you, Rocky. You're great. And I went to Rocky. It's a great place to go. It's the first time I heard you say in front of all those people, both Democrats and Republicans are at fault.
I've heard Trey say it many times.
Well, I could give him credit where credit's due.
Smitty don't listen.
No, I give credit when credit's due, and you're right. There's a lot of people that have to open their minds and go, you got a good idea, and if whether it's right, left, or in between, you have to listen to all sides, and it's true.
Both parties have been involved in bailouts, the bank bailout, the auto bailout, etc.
Absolutely.
And at this point, we have gone on to bail out not just companies, but entire industries and countries. I mean, that's what we're doing in Europe right now.
I think we should take our countries and that money and bring it home, and get away from those countries.
Well, of course, because bailouts simply don't work. I mean, you cannot just keep bailing people out after making terrible decisions and terrible choices year after year. But yet we keep hearing, just like you had said, GM, well, it's much bigger than Ford. I don't care. You can't live by it's too big to fail. If they're making terrible decisions, we as taxpayers, you with your money, Smitty, should not have to pay for the terrible decisions that they have made year after year. And what's happening right now in the United States, which is really scary, is you have counties and possibly entire states like California that are going to file for bankruptcy. And guess who they're going to come to? They're coming to you. They're coming to you because
Trey,
they
what
want
would you
your
do?
money.
lock my door.
Let them fail. Let
Just let them fail?
They made their
Absolutely.
mistakes. They made their beds. Let them live in it.
If you have a, I don't know if you have anyone has children, but if you have a child who just keeps just failing at something, failing at class, do you just say, well, we're just going to pass them. We're going to push them into the 3rd grade, into the 4th grade. Just keep them
Well,
going.
I have to
We're
say
good.
children
We're good.
more resilient, but
Yeah, shock treatment. Yeah.
There we go. Shock collars.
no, I wasn't saying that.
Well, let's
All right, so let them fail.
Let's
Good-
finish
good
up. Let's
whipping will
finish up
help.
with this second clip. It's a
Sure.
very short clip. 277-9600, 775-9600. If you got any comments, Sick Rick, cut 2, go.
So now I want to do the same thing with manufacturing jobs, not just in the auto industry, but in every industry.
Sure.
There you go.
Sure,
So
why
let's just spread the wealth. Let's pick winners
But
and losers.
The rest of that clip is he doesn't want jobs going to China,
Oh,
and
no,
that's
now, of
and
course.
that's the whole shtick that he doesn't want.
That's not what he's saying. That's not the point of the story. The point is he wants to take our money and give them to any industry he chooses that he thinks is going to fail, so he can buy their votes. But go ahead, Trey.
Well,
What is-
again, I mean, let's take a look at what both Democrats and Republicans have done. I'm a proud Republican, but I think that for many years the Republicans have lost their way. The institutional status quo Republicans,
Country club Republicans.
have failed us year after year, and that's why what happened in November 2010 was so significant. That it was people who were ready to shake up the base and return the Republican Party back to what it is, which is limited government. You cannot have either party continue down this path of picking and choosing what business they're going to bail out, what industry they're going to bail out, or what tax incentives they're just going to hand out left and right.
Well, if they're going to bail out anything, I'd rather be American.
I'm with you there. I mean,
Well-
we're giving tons of billions of dollars to Pakistan, Iran, India, Bangladesh. I mean, you name them, China.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stories you've
What
heard
about
from
here?
China, it's like, what are you kidding me? You know, I mean, the most bizarre stories. It's like, at least give the money to people here. You know,
I'm guessing
you
that those are, not that I agree with them, but I'm guessing that those were probably strategic,
buyouts.
Well, strategic ideas to keep certain countries friendly or
But
whatever.
you know what I tell them? Either with us or against
I'm with
us.
you. No, I'm with you.
I'm tired of giving them money. I'm tired of kissing their butt. You know.
And I remember one of the original candidates for president early on, way back. He said the same thing. Either you're with us or you're against us.
That's right.
In referring to countries that we give money to, whether we're buying stuff from them or we're just helping them out or whatever the deal is. He said, if you're against us, you get nothing. And I'd be all for that.
That's
I
right.
mean,
we'll just shut down our corn.
What do you think?
It's foreign aid. I mean,
Shut the whole world down, man.
One of the most egregious examples there too. Let's talk about China and Pakistan. Pakistan, we literally billions a year too.
Billions.
This is a country that you may
Billions
hear,
with a B.
yeah, that they have they harbored, if not willfully ignored, that Osama bin Laden was in their backyard.
Are you
for
trying
many
to say
years.
they didn't think he was there?
Yeah, like they didn't know.
Hold on, that's too funny.
They look. They despise us. They want to do harm to us. When our chopper crashed there in taking out Osama bin Laden, they allowed Chinese scientists to study the technology,
Re-engineer it back with.
and so what we're doing in many parts of the world is just giving money to people that we know despise us, hate us, and are
That's
working.
right. If they
against
want
Yeah,
it, they're going to have to steal it. Okay, that's going to be. We're not going to give it to them.
Sick Rick, we got a caller on the line. All right, caller, you're on Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. What you got?
Hey, good morning, Sheriff Mike Scott.
Oh, Mike Scott, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you doing?
Listen, I was just listening to everybody solve the world's problems in there. I wanted to thank Trey Radel and thank you guys on the ledge. I want to assure you, though, that Obama's not going to take over the Lee County Sheriff's Office, okay?
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Sheriff, you and I spoke earlier in the week, and I know you had you guys had a big case that you were able to take down that violent criminal in the Suncoast Estates area. And if you could, for some of the listeners, are there any updates on that case, or everything went smooth?
Any
Everybody's
breaking
okay?
news? Any breaking news?
Well, the good news is that all the deputies were okay.
Good.
One of Rutherford's last wishes was that he not return to prison. We've accommodated that for him.
Amen.
Very nice.
So, it's sad anytime there's loss of life, but, we got issues. And I've listened to you guys this morning discuss some of them. I've listened to Trey along the campaign trail very clearly articulate a vision and a plan. And, we need some changes here in this country, or just feel like we're going down the wrong road. I remember a guy a few years ago that was actually ridiculed for using the president's full given name.
I remember that guy.
I don't know what to make of that.
Well, we appreciate the fact that guy did that. Because
You don't want to keep bringing that up, Sheriff. I'm just giving you a heads up here. PR guy, don't bring that up.
No, I think that was great. I mean, nothing was done wrong. His whole name was used, and maybe the part of the country didn't know what his middle name was.
Yeah. Well, you guys earlier you guys were talking, and Trey had talked about the voter issues, and I think it's hand in hand with the whole drug testing for welfare recipients.
Yep.
They got up in arms about that, and that was, oh my gosh, surely to goodness we're not going to do that, and that made all the sense in the world, and still does. So there's things along those lines that need to be done, whether it's the voting rolls or the welfare recipients, etc. And we're all anxious and frustrated. We're looking for some change.
Sure. Well, I tell you what. Before we let you go, I mean, I know you've got the same election on Tuesday that Trey does. It's a major election. You've got a couple of opponents as well. And if you can give some parting words to the rest of the public before Tuesday, what would you like to tell the public about yourself and where the sheriff's department's heading, real quick?
Well, I'm passionate about law enforcement. It's all I've ever done, more than half my life, and I remain committed with a very dedicated staff there at the sheriff's office. It's far more than just me, the sheriff. It's 1,500 plus men and women that are out there doing the deal every day for the folks. And I just suggest that now's no time for on-the-job training or learning curves. I've been there for 8 years. I think we've got a good product on the ground, and with the will of the people, Tuesday night we'll dispatch of those opponents and we'll move forward.
That sounds great. Well, we really appreciate your work out there, Sheriff Mike Scott. Trey, anything you want to say to the sheriff?
Sheriff Scott, first of all, stay safe. Thank you for what you do, and please tell your wife and mother I said hello.
I will, Trey. Good luck to you as well.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, thanks for tuning into The Lead, Sheriff. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
We're always tuned in. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, guys, when we get back, we're going to take a quick break, 277-9600 or 775-9600. When we get back, we'll have more with Trey Radel. We'll be right back.
Zito and Garrett.
I appreciate your followership. Appreciate you. Any new ones out there? That Bob Garrett picture. Got to get me a new follower. That's kick-ass. If the only place you can see that is during the Twitter war.
I just tweeted, I give up.
Most people could tweet sandpaper. Is that?
I give up. At the Jeff Zito wins the Twitter war.
So I gotta stop?
What a pussy. Come on.
Zito and Garrett middays, 10 to 2 p.m. after Bubba on 96 K-Rock.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at imperialfiresecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at imperialfiresecurity.com.
License number EF2 000046.
Hello, this is Matt Caldwell, and I'm running for Florida State House, District 79, covering Lehigh Acres, Buckingham, Alva, and North Fort Myers. I'm running for this office because I'm concerned about the future my daughter will inherit if we don't address our problems today. I was proud to serve Lee County these past 2 years and successfully passed legislation like the Andrew Widman Act and a resolution for congressional term limits. I'm also proud to have voted for a balanced budget every year. I'm running to be your representative, and it would be an honor to serve this community. I hope you take the time to vote August 14th. By the way, it's an open primary, so all voters can participate, Republican, Democratic, and Independent. This message is paid for and approved by Matt Caldwell for State House. Also, thanks for listening to The Lead Show with JD and Smitty on 96 K-Rock.
Ray Rodriguez's roots are planted firmly in Lee County. Ray has raised his family right here in Estero, and he's worked tirelessly for Republican candidates and principals for nearly 20 years, currently as vice chairman of the Lee Republican Party. A budget manager at Florida Gulf Coast University, Ray Rodriguez combines budgeting expertise and a conservative economic philosophy, a perfect combination to lead the charge in Tallahassee for less spending and lower taxes. Ray Rodriguez, conservative.
Political ad paid by Ray Rodriguez, Republican for State Representative, District 76.
I'm Byron Donalds, Republican candidate for the United States Congress. I am not a political insider, but look at what the politicians have done to our nation. We are $16 trillion in debt and have massive spending problems. To grow the economy and pay down our debt, we need two solutions. First, I am a supporter of the fair tax, which would bring increased capital formation and business investment to America. Second, we need to end automatic spending increases and go to zero-based budgeting, better known as family budgeting. Just like the Donalds family does, your family does, and the Congress should do. Our problems are not simply financial. We cannot afford to elect the guy who thinks it's his turn, the guy with the name you know, or the guy with the most money. Frankly, we need regular citizens back in the people's house as originally intended to restore individual liberty and our constitutional republic. I'm a regular citizen, and I need your vote on August 14th. I'm Byron Donalds, and I approve this message because we have a country to save.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
Welcome back to the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. Call now at 239-277-9600 or 775-9600. You can check out the live stream at theledgeradioshow.com or visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Ledge Radio Show. Back in studio with us is U.S. Congressional candidate Trey Radel. Trey, thanks for sticking around, buddy.
Great to be here. Early voting going on today.
Yeah,
Tuesday's the big day. We're in the home stretch.
You know, this Tuesday, this whole election, this whole year's worth of elections is one of the most pivotal elections of my time, and I think of your time. I mean, this is the make it or break it, I think. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that this is more than an election. This is a fundamental choice of what direction do we want our country to go.
What are the two directions?
Well, it's either left with you heard President Obama in the last soundbite. I want to take over everything.
Yeah.
But look, I don't want to sound.
I'm sure he meant that.
Quote extreme.
Listen
about
to what
that,
the man says. That's what he means.
But
I'm
look,
sure.
Smitty, you know, when someone says something like that, you think, oh gosh, here we go, another person just rapping off sound bites. I'm here telling you that both parties have been at fault for this.
You're right.
But President Obama's vision for this country is to have as much centralized power as he can have in Washington. And what that means is, yes, retaining control of the auto industry, retaining control of insurance industries. Let's take a look at a perfect example with GM.
Well,
do you think that GM, in anyone in their right mind, would have ever said, I've got a great idea, man. Let's get this electric car, the Chevy Volt, and we're going to get that rocking because it's going to sell big time? And the answer is absolutely not. The average income for the person that is buying a Chevy Volt is no less than $200,000 a year.
You know, I heard.
And yet, you, Smitty, are giving $8,000 to every single individual in this country that goes to buy a car that most of the time will sit in their garage. Why? Why don't you just take a step back and ask yourself, why should we do this?
I heard the other day that the Chevy Volt, it costs $42,000 to build. That's what they sell it for. But then Obama gives a $7,000 or $8,000
$8,000 tax credit. 7 or 8.
Yeah, tax credit to get people to buy it because it's so high priced. And I don't know what they do though when it catches on fire when you're driving down the road. I hope they got that issue fixed.
Well, every new technology has these hurdles. Every new technology.
Sure.
And I don't care if it was phones or the first computer
Laptops burning.
The first computer was the size of this room.
The question is did you have to pay for somebody's iPod? Did you have to pay for somebody's laptop? And the answer is no.
I don't believe I did.
Because there's no government
I could
subsidy
barely buy
in
my own.
capitalism.
That's exactly right. And this is the problem. This is what this administration
why are we
wants
so
for the
big
country.
on
I can tell you with the China thing with the GM, it's the one of a kind situation. I really do believe it. I don't think it's standard across the board. Now you may say it is, and I know that his point is to take over, but for once in a lifetime, China is buying more cars than any place in the world, and GM is selling them to them. So it's not such a bad investment. For a change, we're actually selling China product.
But if they're
that's
selling
amazing.
But if they're selling it at a break-even price, that's not helping anything. GM stock is $43 billion in the hole.
Did you see how much Honda or Toyota cost?
But at the end of the day, though, why is the federal government involved in the business of cars?
Well, because this one industry is a rare red herring. You know, it is an oddball, and so many people.
You mean like Solyndra?
Well, that's the banking industry with the LIBOR rates and all that. That's a whole different horse.
LIBOR?
LIBOR
Spell
rates.
that.
LIBOR.
Look at you.
Well, don't mess with me, boy. I brought my A game today.
Did you look that up on Wikipedia?
I was up all night.
Let's take a caller real quick. Caller, you're on the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty.
Hey, this is Rich in Naples. I had a question for Trey.
Okay, Rich.
One of our most sacred rights is the right to vote. And I've got a petition up. I'm petitioning the government to make it a felony for people to cast a vote illegally. And I wondered what Trey thought of that.
All right, thanks, Rich. We appreciate it, bud. What do you think, Trey?
This is on petition the government. I know Richard.
Oh, you do?
I do. He's a great guy.
All right.
I've known him for years, and actually,
did you ask him to call?
No. I'm sorry. So the question was, should it be a felony to
vote for an illegal to vote?
Yes.
If you're not
Absolutely.
a citizen, to vote.
I think it already is. I don't. Forgive me. I'm not.
There's
an
a lot of
attorney.
rules that aren't enforced.
By the way, as a congressional candidate, let me make something clear. I'm not an attorney.
That's
I'm
true.
a private sector guy.
Well, you're one of only a few that aren't attorneys, then, because there's a lot in Congress that are attorneys.
Yeah. Now, look, attorneys do great things, especially if you ever get caught in a tax issue or trouble or whatever.
What kind of trouble would you be talking about, Trey?
I don't know. I was looking at you when I said that, Smitty.
I know, because I'm looking at it right here.
Well, here's something that this just came out yesterday, and this is more evidence that the government can't run anything. Post Office reports a $5.2 billion loss again, and they're saying they can't make the next $5.2 billion payment. What are we going to do? What's the answer there? Should we just bail them out too?
Well, that's what the Democrat administration would want. Look, our mail carriers do great jobs. We know that, right? There are a few things that need to be rectified. First of all, the post office, like every other single government program, needs a giant reset button to be slapped. And we need to reassess, do we really need this? In today's day and age, when we have FedEx, UPS, etc., do we need to subsidize the post office? I'm open to the type of cuts to cut back on the days of delivery.
Well, they're very top-heavy over there at the post office.
That's exactly
extremely
right. For the men and women who are out delivering mail, though, we need to make sure that let's make sure that we protect what they have been promised. Everyone who's been promised something, if you will, such as Medicare, Social Security,
their health benefits that they've been promised.
It's our
well, and that's what this dollar
that
amount's for. That's mostly it's mostly to pay for the retirement for their previous employees and their soon-to-be retired employees.
And that's why cuts need to be made at that kind of a practical level of, are we going to be delivering every single day except for Sundays?
Right.
And I think not. I think that we can make some cuts.
I'm for 5 days a week. I mean, what the heck?
Well, somebody, it might have been Smitty that mentioned, I don't remember who it was, someone on the show a while back said that they were down at like the main post office branch in Fort Myers, and there were like 4 postmaster generals working there because they consolidated from other branches, so they brought all of them there. Why do you need 4 generals in the same office? I mean, that to me, that's just keeping more government waste right there at your office.
But the problem is the guy, like he said, the guy delivering the mail out there.
His issue.
Right, the guy that's in the field taking hand grenades in trenches, he's going to be the guy who ends up taking it. He's going to end up getting it, and everybody else is going to walk away going, hey, just give me my retirement and the higher ends, the CEOs, they'll walk away like they always do.
Well, in the big picture of all of this, for me, it's always about prioritizing. So when we look to save Social Security, Medicare, or benefits maybe that have been promised someone who's just about to retire, it's about prioritizing. And I think that this country's priorities at the federal level are absolutely out of whack. And that's why we need this giant kind of reset button I've talked about. But let's even just, again, to go back to what everyone agrees on, that foreign aid in particular, when you talk about it, the kind of typical wonky Democrat or Republican will say, it's just a small, little, tiny fraction of it. Well, you know what? The individual raindrop does not blame itself for the flood. And that's why I do believe in massive cuts.
I think Confucius said that.
I saw that in my fortune cookie the other day.
I did too.
But it's true. We need to make these cuts across the board, and that includes something that I would stand up. If I have the honor of serving Southwest Florida as an ex-congressman, I think that a part of the way that we get rid of the terrible culture of Washington and career politicians is cutting pensions, eliminating pensions for congressmen and women, and implementing term limits.
Hold that thought right there. So 277-9600, 775-9600. So you're saying then cut the pensions of the congressmen, and if I'm not mistaken, Smitty and I, we've talked about this before. Is it true that a congressman, once he serves his term, that he's got a pension for life?
You have benefits. The pension, I think, and this is not something I'm focused on. Although I'm focused on is getting rid of it, period. By the way, real quick note. Do you know that congressmen and women not only get a full pension, but they also get a fully matched 401k?
Yeah. Really?
Think about that.
What's that based on?
This
How
is not
much
a
they
Fortune
put in?
500
How much they
company.
put in?
Okay, fully matched. They put
Matched
in 100
and a pension.
Wow.
So I don't even know of a Fortune 500 company that does that. But these are the types of benefits that and this is why people want to stay in there.
And they get health care. They get health care forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can
And they're not
see
held
why
to the
everybody's
Obamacare.
running now.
Yeah.
I want a piece of that pie.
If we want to do something good for this country, though, we also need to change what I call kind of the culture of Washington, D.C. And changing that culture is, in fact, getting rid of career politicians. Pensions just need to be gone, period. Implementing term limits. And also, I think simplifying the tax code. In doing so, I'm a proponent of the fair tax, but in doing so...
Before we get to the tax code, what would you suggest? Do you have a specific number in mind for term limits? Is there something that you think should be implemented?
What Senator Jim DeMint, there's matching legislation on the House side, is 12 years, 2 terms in the Senate, and then 8 years in the House.
Okay, so it does put a limit on them.
Yep. And we did it for the president. We can do it for Congress.
Sure.
That's right.
All right, then on to the tax code.
I like the fair tax because it makes sure that everybody has skin in the game.
Sure.
It taxes consumption, not labor. It's a great concept. I would sign on to it.
So what's the holdup over there, do you think? Why aren't they getting behind it?
Democrats and Republicans for far too long have been able to take a very complicated tax code and I think abuse the American people by incentivizing
using it to their advantage.
Oh, sure. That tax
advantage.
book is a foot thick. I mean, you and I don't benefit from it.
No. I mean,
but the power players in Washington do.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem. You know, when you hear all of these things of, lobbyists are evil, lobbyists are ruining the country, lobbyists are only viable when the government is intervening in business. You remove government out of business, out of decisions making, out of
private business.
You remove that, and you remove the power of the lobbyists.
That's right, because then the lobbyists they literally would have no power. They're going to come in and they're going to come to their congressman. They're going to go, hey, hey, buddy, I really need to get this new change implemented because it would really help my business,
Yep.
and I'm going to support you next time, or whatever they do, however that works. And so then the congressman or the senator goes, yeah, I think we can help you out there, But if you take that power away, where the Senate or the congressman says, I got no pull in this. I can't help you at all.
I can't subsidize your ethanol. I can't go out and buy all of your corn stock to be able to produce gas, ethanol, things like that. Then the lobbyist is not there saying, I'm going to make sure that your pockets are lined for your next election as long as you give me this subsidy, as long as you give me this break.
And when it comes to back to the fair tax now, just what you said, I mean, if we were able to keep our income, the money we make as employees or employers or what have you, that's your money. It was already your money to begin with. The government's now not going to strip it away from you so that they can decide what to do with it. You can then choose to use that money the way you want by purchasing products that you're going to purchase anyway. Then the tax from those purchases would be used to pay for the services that you would normally get from the government. And when I hear the argument that the government says, well, that's just going to make us go bankrupt because our budget is too high. Well, you know what? I got a solution for that. Slash the budget. End some of those departments that you have that we don't need. What do you think about that?
I agree. I mean, our government, again, a big, real simple theme that I think both Democrats and Republicans can see and agree on. The more money that's in the public sector, meaning Washington, the less money that we have in our pockets, period.
Absolutely.
That's just the way it is.
That's simple math.
And the question is Democrats and Republicans will agree.
Was that a joke?
We want an efficient, we want our money spent efficiently. And it's not right now. It is out of control. We have a $16 trillion debt that both parties to some degree are responsible for. And that's why I'm running, because some of my opponents in this race have been behind big government, big spending ideas. Prime example is Obama's high-speed rail here in the state of Florida. We have people who supported that. And they say these nonsense things like, well, this is great. Government's going to create jobs. Remember, government doesn't create jobs. Government takes money from your pocket, Smitty, and puts it in somebody else's. And that's all that happens.
Yeah.
So what we have is the big government Democrat ideas then simply being substituted with the big government Republican ideas. Both have to stop. We need to return this country to what makes it great, and ultimately it's economic freedom. It's free markets.
Hey, speaking of freedom, I've got a short little story here before we go to break. Had a man up in Oregon, and this is just another reason not to live in Oregon. Okay. Move to Florida.
I think I heard this one.
Move to Florida. Sentenced to 30 days in jail and just started serving his sentence for catching rainwater on his own property. I swear
so
it is the
ridiculous.
complete truth.
It's sentenced to 30 days?
30 days in jail plus a $2,500 fine for catching rainwater on property. That's like their state's version of the DEP or the Southwest Florida Water Management up there.
DEP.
Yeah, whatever they have up there. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine going through that? And this guy, he actually comes out and he says they've just gotten to be big bullies, and if you just lay over and die and give up, that just makes them bigger bullies. So he says he's standing up for the American people by serving his time, and he's bringing the issue out, to a national level.
Wow.
I mean,
they just need more to do up there. Obviously, they're chasing, they're chasing this guy down and going, "You got that tank in the backyard? I see you gathering rainwater there." Come on, really? Jeez.
Well, let's take a quick break here. When we get back, we'll be more with Trey Radel. 277-9600, 775-9600. We'll be right back.
You never know what we're going to say or do. Take 96 K-Rock wherever you go with the iRadio Now app.
iRadio Now.
Available for free on all smartphones, including Android. The biggest personalities in radio entertainment. Available on one app.
iRadio Now.
The iRadio Now app for all smartphones.
Just go to the App Store and search iRadio Now.
And download it for free.
Brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, Coconut Point.
Visit 96krock.com for more information.
iRadio Now.
96 K-Rock.
Securing your family, your business, your property. That's what's important in your world. No matter how big, no matter how small. Secure your world with Imperial Fire Alarm and Security today.
Imperial Fire Alarm and Security is a local company with hometown service, the way it should be. One call to Imperial will align you with the most effective fire alarm security and surveillance systems, as well as state-of-the-art wireless monitoring. If you're a property manager or condo association member, ask about Imperial's wireless monitoring systems to replace costly and unreliable phone lines and save your community thousands. From individual homes to large communities, Imperial Fire Alarm and Security can secure your world.
Don't you think it's time to secure your world? Imperial Fire Alarm and Security services Lee, Charlotte, and Collier counties. Learn more at imperialfiresecurity.com or to schedule your free consultation, call 239-288-6482. Secure your world at imperialfiresecurity.com.
License number EF2 000046.
Ray Rodriguez's roots are planted firmly in Lee County. Ray has raised his family right here in Estero, and he's worked tirelessly for Republican candidates and principals for nearly 20 years, currently as vice chairman of the Lee Republican Party. A budget manager at Florida Gulf Coast University, Ray Rodriguez combines budgeting expertise and a conservative economic philosophy, a perfect combination to lead the charge in Tallahassee for less spending and lower taxes. Ray Rodriguez, conservative.
Political ad paid by Ray Rodriguez, Republican for State Representative, District 76.
I'm Byron Donalds, candidate for the United States Congress. We all know that America faces major challenges. Most Republicans in Congress support lower taxes and spending cuts, but these same Republicans have led America to where we are today. We simply cannot afford to elect another politician or Washington insider. We need congressmen and women that possess the qualities of virtue, prudence, and restraint. Frankly, we need regular citizens back in the people's house as originally intended. Ones that will lead with the conservative message of free market capitalism, individual liberty, and limited constitutional government. In my current job, I'm entrusted with the management of billions of dollars in investments and serve as a youth leader and mentor to hundreds of youth in my church and community. Congress worked best for the people when it was made up of real citizens. I am a real citizen, and I need your vote on August 14th. I'm Byron Donalds, and I approve this message because we have a country to save.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Why should you want to know? Don't you mind about the future?
You're on the Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty. Call now, 277-9600 or 775-9600. You can check out the live stream at theledgeradioshow.com or visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Ledge Radio Show. Smitty, you're looking awful tired over
well,
there.
I'm trying to be nice, and you guys get on me because I'm trying to be a nice guy, but I guess I got to be mean now. So let's go, Mr. Radel. When you first came in here, the first time you came in the show, you were very gracious, and you caught me off guard. You had your flip-flops, sandals, T-shirt, and I thought, man, this guy with his stellar looks, good-looking wife, he had me off guard a little, had me bobbing and weaving. But I thought, now I'm ready for you now. Everybody's been seeing on TV the ads about your so-called .com.
Sure.
So what say you? I mean, we all know what it said. It said something about being the porn industry and et cetera.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a chance to speak.
Hold on, cue up the music.
I've seen it.
Was your porn name Buck Naked?
Yeah, I mean, this goes to
Not
show.
like yours, but ugly. Go ahead.
Oh, nice.
So in the late 1990s, I started up a company that bought and sold domain names. Going into the boom of the early 2000s,
the .com boom.
Yeah, my company was moving hundreds and hundreds a week. So what is a domain name? 90% of the people maybe even listening right now don't even know what a domain is. A domain is simply the words with the .com attached.
My house is my domain.
TheLedgeRadioshow.com.
Exactly, that would be, yeah. But a domain is essentially like a plot of land with no home, no website, nothing. It's just a name. So we were tremendously successful. Some of the big sellers that I had, I bought internshipguide.com. I went around the United. I identified small cities.
I don't think that's the one they were talking about.
Well, let them tell you.
Around the United States that were booming and growing fast. We had like Provo, Utah, ProvoNightlife.com, McAllenSocialGuide.com, and they were selling. Well, a couple of the knuckleheads I worked with bought curse words in Spanish. Okay, they buy these curse words in Spanish.
.com
and some of .com. And this. Now think about this for a second. Someone hired. One of my opponents hired a private investigator to dig into my life, my wife's life, my parents' credit. All of these things go on. And they do this to just dig up anything that they possibly can when you have a normal person running for office that has not spent all of their life.
You know that's politics. They're gonna dig up everything.
And I would even say this: if I didn't have thick enough skin to deal with this, I sure as heck wouldn't have thick enough skin to go to Washington. But I can deal with it. My family can deal with it. It's fine. But this goes to show why I think good people don't run for office.
Do you know who did? Do you know who dug up this information?
No.
Are you lying?
No, I have my thoughts, but you
can't say.
I don't care. In this race, here's what's going to happen this weekend. The news press, the newspaper is going to release an actual scientific poll. None of these dumb straw polls that mean nothing. None of these polls where you can go online and have everybody and your cousin and mother click your best.
You can go into 3 different browsers on your own computer.
Exactly. And click them all.
Bash vote.
And what the people are going to see is, as a reporter from the news press has told us and asked us for reaction, we're tied for first place.
Well, that's good news. That's good news.
Great news. We're tied for first place.
Who do you think's your guy? Jeff, you were to guess.
I think that what we have, again, just statistically seen, Chauncey Goss and Paige Kriegel have been up there. Both are great guys, but I fundamentally disagree on their kind of views of big government Republican, big spending ideas. Again, both good guys, like them a lot, but I don't know why Paige isn't running.
You think they're kind of like the old school Republican?
Yes,
if you had to say
the men and women in November 2010 that were elected, those men and women were a different type of Republican,
like the Marco Rubio.
Yes.
How old were you when this happened? I'm just wondering. How old
in the
were
90s? You had to be in your early 20s.
In my 20s, yeah.
20s?
Yeah. Well, let's. We got a caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the Ledge Radio Show.
Hi, just wanted to let you guys know, breaking news, Mitt Romney has announced his vice president.
He's just watching TV.
That he has picked is going to be Ron Paul.
Ron Paul, huh?
Ron Paul?
It looked like Paul Ryan earlier at 7 o'clock when I got the first notification.
Really?
Yeah.
It's going to be Ron Paul will be the VP pick?
Must be.
I don't think so. But hey, we appreciate the call. Yeah, no, the actual pick from what I've been seeing is Paul Ryan.
Joking?
Somebody, yes, he's joking.
Kind of messing
sure.
with us.
I don't know.
With you.
I mean, that would be different.
That would be different, huh? Hey, high risk, high reward.
Man, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ron Paul has some serious, devoted, dedicated supporters that are like, man, they're like militant for him. I mean, in a good way, I think.
I like Ron Paul's domestic policies.
I like a lot of his
foreign
stuff.
policies are just scary.
Well, I don't know, man. I think he means well. I think he's got a good group of supporters. And
what's the problem? How come people? At the latest poll on Fox News was like he's leading.
Who's leading?
Obama's leading by 3 to 11 points, depending on which poll you take right now.
It's a poll.
And that's a Fox poll. What's the problem with Romney? Why aren't people more gravitated towards him? Is it just he's that? I don't know, out of touch. I mean, what is it?
Well, you got some real negative ads out against him also.
Oh my gosh! The latest was that he basically the presidential race has come down to like a kindergarten shouting.
It's going to get worse.
And they say, Romney, you killed a woman.
I know.
mean, really, that's
It's
really
character
what-
assassination is what it is.
Yeah,
But it's a complete lie, because even factcheck.org found out that all of the ads were completely false. But it doesn't matter. Obama will continue to play these ads because his drones, his sheeple
Well, wait a minute,
will continue to believe them.
Wait a minute.
Oh, they will.
Romney
Now it's all Obama's fault.
Romney recently said under the welfare you wouldn't have to work and you wouldn't have to train for a job for the welfare check. They'll just send the welfare check to you. And I looked on your site you just mentioned, and they said that's just a flat-out blatant lie. Matter of fact, they called it "pants on fire" was their response.
Nice.
Okay, so I mean, if
Which
yeah.
website did you find it from?
PolitiFact.com.
PolitiFact?
Mm-hmm.
That's not factcheck.org.
PolitiFact.
Try again.
PolitiFact.
Okay, we got a caller on the line.
PolitiFact.
All right, caller, you're on the Ledge Radio Show. What you got?
It wasn't RushLimbaugh.com like you get your stuff.
How you doing?
Mike Garofolo, is this Mike from the Cape?
Yeah.
Hey, what you got going on, buddy?
Hey, Mr. Radel, I said, you can search your opponent's computers there and see what kind of websites they're going to, just in case. You know what I'm saying?
we'll pass that information along to him.
Wait, and you were talking about Mitt Romney, too. A lot of people are afraid of him because he wears those magic underwears that the Mormons got. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Oh, man.
Safety.
They're afraid of the magic underwear.
Safety first, man.
Hey, at least he's not a Scientologist. That's all I got to say.
That's next.
And he's not a communist. Hey, Mike, we'll catch up with you later, buddy.
What's the magic underwear?
That's what the Mormons do.
You gotta
What's the magic
research.
underwear?
You gotta research. You know
Can
what?
I
though?
buy that?
Harry Reid's a
Where's
Mormon
it at?
too.
Hey, wait a second. In defense, don't we all have our favorite pair of underwear?
I'm wearing mine
come
right
on,
now.
Don't we all?
Got like 17 holes.
I mean, who doesn't?
These
We
are
all say
holy.
there's my
So
boys
we all
right
pull
there.
our pants down, it would be realistic. It would
You
be
ain't
like,
lying.
oh,
It certainly would.
okay.
We all did. Let's turn this camera
That'd be a
off real
photo
quick.
op.
All right, Sick Rick, let's take the other call. Caller, you're on the Ledge Radio Show.
Hey, this is D from Fort Myers.
Hey, D.
What's up, D?
I just wanted to. I mean, I listen to you guys' show quite often, and I think it's great.
Thanks.
The whole deal here with, I mean, I'm just an average guy. I work, 50 hours a week, get paid for 40, basically. I have my own business, trying to make ends meet.
You should call Morgan & Morgan. They talk about that all the time.
Yeah, believe me. I mean, you guys are all talking. You're all quote politicians.
Not me.
Well, I mean, you have candidates in there and everything else.
Sure.
I mean, the average person, me and the guys that I work with. I mean, I don't hear a whole lot of people calling in, a whole lot of us calling in, and I wanted to do that.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is the average person. I mean, we're pissed off.
Yep.
We're tired of it.
I'm with you.
Hey, D, first of all, you're not average, man. You see,
Well, I
this
got
is
a job, so I'm not completely average. No.
you're not. No, but you're not average at all. You are working probably 1,000 times harder than I think a lot of the politicians in Washington have been serving us. You wake up, I don't know if you have kids, but my gosh, so many people right now are waking up and just trying to enjoy their Saturday. And you know what? A huge percentage of them are working. They're feeding their kids in the morning. They're going to work, getting them off to daycare. They come home. They're lucky to get them to football or soccer practice on time. They're lucky to sit down and have a meal with them on time. And all of this is a reflection of the problems in our country today, which go back to the economy. Go back to the economy. And government has screwed up our economy so bad that you got Dean here, who says he's working 50 hours a week just to be able to match what he could do at 40.
Yeah.
Brother, you are not average. You are above average in every single way. And everybody in here today that's working on a Saturday, and those listening in the car right now working, there's no average.
You're either contributing or you're not, and guys like you are contributing, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate you listening to the show. Are there any specific questions you'd like answered while we got Trey in the studio?
Well, I mean, not really. I agree with a lot of things he's saying. I mean, we need to get rid of big government. I mean, government has run us into where we're at, so we need to get rid of them.
Who are you voting for?
Well, I mean, I'm just about 90% decided, but I haven't decided completely yet.
Okay. Well, we won't let Smitty pressure into it, but we appreciate the call.
That was a tough pressure question.
Keep listening, D. Take care, buddy.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Before we get into I know we had the lady caller a little bit ago, and that was something we were talking about off air. Mitt Romney came out and did select Paul Ryan as the VP. It's like we were saying, he is a superstar in his own right. maybe some of us were hoping for someone like a Marco Rubio.
He's for privatized Social Security. I know that. That's his big thing he was pitching for really.
Well,
bad.
when your government's going to go bankrupt, you might as well do something different.
Well,
I mean, what do you think about it, Trey?
He's never lost an election.
Oh, that's good.
I think Ryan's a great pick. But what I think is most important with someone like a Mitt Romney at the helm is that we have Republicans in Congress that hold their feet to the fire to make sure that we go through with everything that we've been working so hard for to be able to do, which is to restore this economy, get our government back on track, and get rid of the $16 trillion debt that's hanging over all of our heads.
And it just went over 16. Jobs. It just went over 16 just the other day. So literally when we say 16 now, it's not a rounding up. We'd be rounding down now.
Well, let me tell you, I think if Romney stays too far to the right, and I know you guys are there.
Romney doesn't stay too far to the right. Rick Santorum would have been far to the right.
Well, I'm telling you, if Romney stays too far to the right and doesn't come back a little, he's going to lose the election. And you're going to have to ask yourselves, does he stay with his right-wing, far right-wing conservative view and lose the election, or does he come back a little bit and actually get the middle part of the vote? The independent guys that are kind of floating out there and go, okay, now I won.
Did you not notice what happened in 2010?
And if he loses, you're going to be sitting there going, gee, Smitty, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Were you awake in 2010?
I'm awake
when
today.
The conservative revolution swept in like over 600 conservative candidates?
This is a new game now, man.
No, he needs to stay to the right.
Okay.
Stay to the right.
Well, you'll see.
What is far right?
Yeah, Smitty. What's far right?
Closed-minded people that don't want to listen to anything but what their views are.
That's far right.
That's far right.
You mean constitutionalists?
That's it, constitutionalists.
That believe in the Constitution.
That's it. That's what it is.
That's what I'm dealing with. Right. What do you think about that, Trey? That's what I got, man.
See, he's a Nazi. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're the one who
he's a freaking Nazi. He's a Nazi. What do you know?
So I believe in the Constitution, so I'm a Nazi.
Look, you know damn well that when it comes to the right wing, that those guys have been vindicated for a long time about stuff, and I can tell you right now that you guys, the far right wing, it's a lot of locker room talk. It's a lot of locker room talk, you know?
What does that even mean?
That means go get them, guys, and we're going to take control of the government, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and it all sounds really good on paper, but when it comes down to really getting the job done, it never gets done.
Nope.
That's because the Democrats are in control.
It's your own party. It's your own party sells it. You're your worst enemies.
See what I got to deal with, man.
It's true, though.
It's true. It's your worst enemies. You guys are your worst enemies.
You guys all advertise you're going to do something. You're going to do something. And you get in there and do nothing.
Well, I actually have to agree with Sarah, and you do speak some truth in that. You know, that we've got plenty of the old-style country club Republicans still in power that got in to get in, and their whole job is to stay in, and they're going to do whatever they have to. And you know what they've done to stay in? They've moved to the center or moved to the left. They should have stuck to their conservative core, right-side roots, to defend the Constitution. That was their job, and they're not doing that. And that's why guys like Trey, that's what he's looking to do.
Because I believe, and this is not a throwaway line, I believe in we the people, not I the federal government. And again, that's why this election is about so much more than just voting for an R or a D or a specific candidate. It is, we need to return to what has made America great for more than 200 years. And it is not the federal government intervening and taking over businesses at every turn. What has made America great, what has made us uniquely stand out compared to every other country on the planet, are free markets, free enterprise, and free people. Period.
I agree. Smitty, do you disagree with that?
I agree with pretty much what he said.
You weren't even listening. You're over there sleeping again.
I'm reading.
Did you drink your Ensure this morning?
I'm reading about Romney.
Well, keep on reading.
And Ryan.
Okay. Well, now that's something else we were talking about earlier too. You know, again, I mentioned Rubio. I'm a little. I would have liked to see Rubio just because of the rock star status, but at the same time, my feeling is keep him in the Senate, at least for now, because we need good senators like him.
Yep.
And if we lose him in the Senate, who would replace him? You know, we need somebody strong in the Senate like that, and we need to pick up more seats, because if we don't, it doesn't matter if we win the presidency. If they keep control of the Senate, we're deadlocked again. So let's get some more good conservative senators. Let's win the presidency, and let's truly move this country forward by repealing most of the. How do I propose what?
They're going to
honey, repealing laws
Sarah, they're going to stay far to the right. They're not going to come to the middle, and they're not going to win the election. And when they start crying the blues, you won't. You know what? The Constitution would have never been written if they didn't compromise.
You can't compromise your values.
It's that closed-minded view that you have is going to be the reason why you lose the election.
Can I leave with a little kind of optimistic?
Absolutely.
Senator Marco Rubio, who was labeled this crazy Tea Party extremist, he has sponsored no fewer than 5 pieces of legislation with Democrats. Areas that we can come together as the United States of America, realizing again that it's freedom that makes this country great. What he has done is repealed certain regulations, lowered the corporate tax rate, keep incentives for small businesses to keep going, and he's doing this with Democrats in the Senate. It's Harry Reid that's stopping things, but I'm telling you, as I would love to serve the Southwest Florida in our country as a congressman, there are areas that we can work together to get this economy back on track, and for those of you working today, get you a job.
We can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you appreciate that, Smitty?
Yes.
Early voting's going on.
Yeah, I agree with everything
Shameless
you say
plug.
today. Is that what it says? Do you agree with that?
Hey,
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Last thought of the day here before we try to wrap it up. I found
agree with that. I agree
another
with that.
article from Oregon. It was great. It's real quick. Okay, I'm
collect
telling you,
rainwater,
don't live in
people.
Oregon. It might be a nice place to visit. Don't live there.
What'd you get? Oregon.com?
An Oregon business owner claims a liberal customer slapped him over his anti-Obama sign. He put a sign up, a big sign in his front window of his business. Hey, Obama, I built my business by myself, you lousy, incompetent excuse for a president. And this lady walks in, comes in to argue with him, ends up slapping him, and then when he says he's going to call the cops, she runs away. Don't open a business in Oregon if you're a conservative, because apparently the people up there won't agree with you.
Hey, thank you guys
You
for
can't
having
slap
me.
anybody anymore.
Trey, we appreciate you coming in, buddy.
Well, when you win, I want to be invited to the big party.
We'll be back.
Collect
We'll be back
rainwater.
next week. The Ledge Radio Show with JD and Smitty, Trey Radel,
Early
Tuesday.
voting going on.
See ya.
Vote.
We're out.
Trey Radel, thank you.